Stories that never go stale with the champs, the underdogs, the dreamers too. He's walking and talking just for you. Walking with Franco, stories unfold, wrestling hearts in a ring of gold. Walking with Franco, legends alive, every step's a suplex in time.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Walking with Franco. And today we have an absolute heavy metal of a guest. He is the one and only Titanic Wrestling All Ulster Champion, Heavy Metal Gary Gibson.
It is a pleasure to be here.
Gary, I just want to say thank you very much for travelling all the way from Limavady today to meet up with us and walk with Franco. It's an honour to have you on the show.
It's happy to be here.
And it's
More than happy to spend the time.
It's greatly appreciated. So I'm just going to go straight into some questions for you.
Go for it.
First and foremost, tell us who you are and give us a little history behind Gary Gibson.
Well, Gary Gibson, was born from my own kind of personality, the whole heavy metal, just metalhead kind of gimmick shtick kind of just turned up to 11. It's realistically, it is who I am personally behind the scenes too. And that's kind of, I know it's a bit of a bland history, but it is more or less just me just cranked up to, cranked up the extremes. That's the way I like to show off and just be more extravagant about myself. See the word? More heavy metal.
More heavy metal. We could all do a little more heavy metal in our lives. So, what was your first memories of wrestling, and how did you get into it?
I actually showed a couple of mates of mine this other week too. My earliest memory that I have in my mind, I found a old Christmas letter back from 2001, and I was asking for the likes of like Hardy Boys action figures and stuff like that there, and in my mind I can't remember it, but around early primary school is my actual memories for it. So just watching it on TV and just being really awestruck by everything that I've seen, you know, Hardy Boys being the particular one that caught my mind at the time. And just kind of grew from that there, kind of fell out with it a bit as I was growing up. And then I think around about the time of 2006, 7-ish, kind of fell back into it again and just it stuck from there.
I think it's a theme with a lot of people. When you are a kid or a big kid, you love it, and then when you go to school, you see other people liking other things, and you get into them, and you just it's not that you fall out of love of it, because I remember I always wanted to watch the Royal Rumble.
Mm-hmm.
The Royal Rumble was always my favourite event, and no matter what I was doing in life, I always made time to watch the Royal Rumble. I never ever missed the Royal Rumble. So who was your favourite wrestlers back then?
Back then, I always stick with the Hardy Boys. They always had them, and then always like the likes of growing up, I watched like Rob Van Dam, stuff like that. There, like Jerry Lynn kind of caught me whenever I first seen him. Triple H, Undertaker, you know, all the big names sort of way, but Rob Van Dam, who's always been top of my list.
And would you say your style lends a little bit to the likes of Rob Van Dam?
I would be. Coming from a martial arts background myself too. He's kind of, you know, blend that athletic, high-flying martial arts kind of style with wrestling. Kind of, it suited me a bit more. Kind of gravitated towards that a lot more.
And who would be your favourite wrestlers now? Who do you like to watch now?
Oh, I would still watch Rob Van Dam, even though the man can, God knows how old he is, but yeah, he can still go. For now at the minute, I don't have anyone I would really gravitate to. I just kind of watch the whole product as a whole. I'm struggling to actually think who I would pick. I can't say for one to be. No, I can't.
That's
just kind of
fair
bit everyone.
enough. Yeah. Some people have favourites, some people don't. That's fine. Why or how did you start training, and what made you think I can do this?
Do you want the extravagant sob story, or do you want the actual story?
Maybe give us the actual story.
The actual story. Titanic was having a show in Pilot Row in Derry, and I went and seen it. And then a few months later, they posted they had a training school, and I joined up. That's the actual story. Yeah, nothing, no bells and whistles about it.
And how long have you been doing it now?
Oh, that was 2022, 2023, I think. That's two and a bit. Three and a bit.
I think it might be a bit more than that,
Bit
Gary,
more,
because you
three and a
started
bit.
a few.
3 years.
Me and Jacko started when Jacko was 16 and Jacko was turning 19, so it might be a wee bit more than you.
A wee bit more than that.
A wee bit more than that.
It's too many CTEs kind of making the years disappear then.
What?
I 2022, 2021,
Yeah.
something around that point anyway.
What was the hardest thing for you to learn?
Hardest thing to learn? Because of my background, you know, the break falls and the rolls, stuff like that there, they weren't alien to me. So kind of picking up them as it went along. It was moving in the ring, because I'm used to being like fast paced, sort of go all the time. It was stripping that back and moving slower in the ring and being more vocal, more what's the word? Visual in the movements.
Yes.
So a lot of that there stuff there was quite tough to learn.
You do a lot of martial arts movements.
Yeah.
Have you got a background in martial arts?
I do. I 4 or 5 years, I want to say pre-COVID time, I spent karate. Started off in karate schools, and then I joined a couple of kickboxing clubs. So I kind of melded the two styles together there. And then my kickboxing coach, he started with another club and sort of melded together to form like an MMA club. So with the karate clubs, then started learning the kickboxing, and then that broke into the likes of like judo and BJJ, and a couple of sort of like clan wars kind of cage match or MMA kind of style fights. So I kind of learned a lot of stuff that way.
And do you think that helps with your wrestling?
It
Or
does.
has helped?
Oh, it definitely does. There's because they're both combat sports, no matter what way you kind of put down to it. There's a lot of contact there. It's a lot of people would shy away from, whereas I'm just there and it's comfortable to me. And it's the movement, all the moves, kind of picking everything up, just kind of everything melds together so well.
So the thing about wrestling is you sort of, when you start, you're on a journey.
Mhm.
And when you started on your journey, what were your expectations? Or what were you hoping to achieve?
Whenever I first started, genuinely, I just thought, I want to go in there, I want to have a match, and I want to call it a day. Because I wasn't really expecting too much out of it. And then I got in there and I had my first match, and the bug just hit me. It was like a wave, like I need more of this. Like I was enjoying it up to that point, but it's up to then I was just about to be ready. One match was, you know, that's enough for me. Then once I had that one there, it was, no, I need more of this here. I need my fix.
See, it's something I spoke to Stephen Carvell recently about, was that obviously I'm a lot older than a lot of the guys starting out, and my originally started was to lose a bit of weight and to sort of keep an eye on Jacko to make sure nobody was taking advantage of him, because he was younger then, and you get the bug.
Definitely.
That's what we talk.
Definitely
You get the bug, you know. And we talked about training, and whenever you go to training, there's I this will be a wee bit of a repeat for listeners, but I suffer with sciatica, and there's sometimes I go to training and I'm like, I cannot be bothered with this. I cannot be annoyed. But you never come away from training going, I wish I hadn't done that.
There's times sort of halfway through it, you kind of think, oh, I should have stayed at home.
Yep.
But then once you kind of get through the whole training session, it's like, yeah, that's worth it.
That was one of the things I had said to Stephen Carvell, was once you get in and you start doing the rolls and you start to warm up and you start to loosen up, you're like, yeah, I'm glad I came. And you just get that bug.
It gets you quickly, like,
definitely
does.
Definitely does. So, you said you had the one match. Tell us a little bit about your debut match and who was it against.
My debut match was against a current Titanic wrestling champion, the Dark Horse, back in. Oh, dates are awful for me. March-ish, I want to say, 2023. I also want to say I may be wrong on that, but it sounds quite right to me. Yeah, at that point there, it was my first match. I went in kind of thinking, I'm not really ready for this, but I was there and had it anyway. My main concern for that there was, for me, it was awful. I went in and first conversation I had with Horse about it was like, "What have you got?" And my mind just kind of froze, and I had nothing. I have nothing to give here. I have no moves. I have no nothing. They were like, what am I doing here? But I kind of eventually got through. Kind of got myself calmed down and got my moves out there and put everything together, and it went pretty well.
How did you prepare for that match?
Same way I still do to this day. A lot of panicking backstage. I am well known for that. There, I maybe covered up quite well, but internally, I am a nervous wreck. A lot of pacing, a lot of overthinking everything, a lot of staring off into space, and a lot of drinking constant energy drinks. Probably doesn't help it. But if anybody has seen me kind of in the back, I probably look dead on, but internally a nervous wreck. I use my entrance music as like a switch, we call it. It's got this big elongated guitar solo for the start of the song, and I use that there to kind of get my mind and ready for it. And so if anybody has actually seen me, doing my moves backstage for this year, it is a sight to be seen.
Well, I mean, we have teamed up once when
Correct.
Jagger was quite ill and couldn't make it to this show, and you were very grateful when I needed a partner to step up.
Correct.
You've also teamed with Stu Parker, who turned his back on you
Unfortunately, correct. Team twice together.
twice,
Actually. Yeah.
and Rocky Star.
Correct.
You are current All-Ulster champion.
Yes.
If you could team with someone else to form a tag team and go after tag team gold, who would you pick? Or who do you think would complement Heavy Metal Gary
I
Gibson?
think you hit the nail on the head there. I think Rocky Star is the best opportunity there. I know he's currently still got that number one contendership against my All-Ulster Championship. But I still think we could have a wee tag run together. Technically, we are undefeated as a tag team. I think we could make a new Rock and Roll Express. Something along that lines.
Could be interesting.
Yeah.
Could be something for the future. So you were recently in Scotland,
Yes.
and I know you've wrestled down south at Fight Factory Pro Wrestling.
Yes.
Is there anywhere else you have wrestled, or is there anywhere that you would like to go and wrestle?
I have wrestled with Superstars Wrestling in my hometown, Limavady, when I came through there at the beginning of this year. I have wrestled with Stay True a few years back on I think it was a Halloween show. Done a few matches in that card. So if you say I've done the IWA, Irish Wrestling Alliance, I think it is. Correct me if I'm wrong on that, or I will get crucified. In Longford, that was a fun trip. I've been down to Cork a few. I've never wrestled down with RCW, but I've been down helping out on their shows a few times. As you say, I've done Fight Factory. I've been over with CPW over in Scotland. And the last time I was over there, I kind of met a lot of ones from other schools. And I would love to kind of see more over there. And then the likes of all over England too. I'd love to get myself over there and kind of see what their schools are like. I know I've trained with, and yourself with, what's his name, Flash Morgan Webster.
Yes.
And Dean Allmark.
Yes.
And they have schools all over England and Wales and all too. So I'd like to get over there and kind of explore that a wee bit more.
So we were talking there just about preparing for matches. Is there Any other sort of type of ritual that you use, or any, are you superstitious or anything like that there? Or would you try and wear the same sort of socks for every match type thing?
The irony is that you're actually right on that there. I have a pair of socks. I think I got them. I was over on holidays and I seen them, and they're like a cheap pair of like socks, something like that there, but they say rock and roll on it. And I think I have worn those socks every single time I've wrestled. Uh, I specifically keep them for a Sunday event. So anytime I've wrestled on a Sunday, I have worn those socks. And I have also got two special pairs of boxers that I only wear when I wrestle.
Right.
So yeah, it's a unique ritual. I have specific underwear that I wear wrestling that are just for that event alone.
For me, it's a socks thing.
Yeah.
I have to wear a brand new pair of socks.
Right.
There's a specific brand of socks that, like, I'm not going to mention them because I don't want to go to the shop someday and there be none in stock.
Everybody buy them up.
I have to wear a new pair of socks. It's a little part of the mind, a mental thing that I have, but it's just some of us are quirky, you know. And
Aren't we all?
I'm just glad I only wrestle maybe once a month, so because the socks are quite expensive, but they do last, and I've quite a few pairs of them. But for me, it has to be a new pair of socks every time. So, what is the best advice you could give someone who wants to start out in this?
Do it. The hardest part is starting. It's all that mental anguish of, oh, I'll start next week, or I'll do it next time, or blah blah blah, all out there, and just get up and do it. I know it's going to be like a tough kind of intro way into it, but once you start it, and once you start getting into the basic fundamentals of it all, then that's when things start to get easier, and you can't get past that barrier until you start.
I mean, as you said about getting the bug, you have to travel for the guts of an hour to get the training.
Yeah.
And would you say it's worth it?
Oh, big time, 100%. So there's times that I'm kind of in the car on the way home, like I just want to sleep. But now going back and forward from training, that's definitely worth it for me. I know I only get up about maybe once, twice a week if I can, because I work full time outside of wrestling. So it's getting the time to wrestle in the evenings too. So anytime I do get a chance to get up training, to me it's worth it.
I think it's also one of the joys of living on a small island.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're only ever really a couple of hours drive from anywhere. I mean, it's only from Belfast to Dublin, it's 90 minutes.
Yeah, I could do that Belfast to Limavady kind of trek. I've been doing it, constantly now for years. It doesn't faze me. And then I say I've done that Cork run a few times. That's a trek and a half. But once I've done that there, the Dublin trek seems like nothing.
So next question is, Gary, do you like milkshake?
I do like milkshakes.
I know you like milkshakes because when we were back at the car there, I like to try one of our sponsors, Miller Moo, and you chose the cookies and cream flavour.
I did.
Tell us what you thought about that.
That was nice. It was creamy. It was not overly sweet, but just sweet enough that I could drink another one. Definitely could drink another one.
Well, there's another one in the car, so maybe get you another one when we get back there. Yeah, hopefully it doesn't warm up.
Fingers crossed.
I'd just like to take this opportunity to thank Miller Moo for sponsoring the show. And if anybody's interested, they're right there on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. They have their own website and they are available in all good stockists.
Miller Moo, the milk to drink when feeling blue. Miller Moo, 4 flavors, which one's for you? Strawberry, banana, chocolate, cookies and cream. Miller Moo, we love you.
So just moving on, we were talking about advice. What is the best piece of advice that you have been given?
Gotten a few bits of advice from multiple different people over the years. All of it's very kind of situational too. Best advice that I think everyone gives everyone this advice is, if you think you're going slow, if you think you're, I've forgotten it now.
You think you're going
If you
slow,
think you're going slow,
go
go
slower.
slower. That's the one.
Yeah.
Because in the wrestling world, everything goes a million miles an hour, and a lot of the nuances will be lost. So if you're going slower, you can always go slower than that, and everything will be seen better. I think that's the advice I always got, and it's tough to move at a snail's pace while still moving physically fast.
I actually remember one of the first matches I had in training. It was only 4 minutes, and afterwards, I'll not mention his name because he knows who he is, but he said to me, "My goodness, Franco, you done about 20 minutes worth of a match there in the 4 minutes."
Mm-hmm.
And I says, "What do you mean?" He says, "You done so much. You were going so fast. Just you could have done an eighth of what you done in that match, and it would have looked so much better." And he had mentioned about take your time, go slow, and it was always like make your stuff mean something.
Yeah.
And that's what sort of gets drilled into us all the time in training. And speaking of training, and we were talking about seminars earlier.
Yeah.
Who has been your favourite seminar to go to? And what was the most important thing, or the thing that you took away from the seminar that you think that will really work for me?
Pinpoint a favourite one. I've taken away so much from each seminar. Who we have the last wee while? Big Demo. It was kind of more focused on the likes of moving slower in the ring, making everything feel more impactful.
Yep.
LJ Cleary was one of my first seminars. It was kind of more on like the psychology of each individual sections of a match, kind of making them feel different. Flash Morgan Webster was a lot more of like technical kind of wrestling, along with Dean Allmark too. It's just real like grounded technical wrestling kind of showcase. I really liked a lot of that. Jack Selstrom was a lot of like body manipulation kind of stuff, more like
Yeah, I really enjoyed the Jack Seltzer one. I took a lot away from it. I also took a lot away from the Big Demo one.
Yeah.
And I helped out a while back there with new trainees. There was that many new guys come through, and Titanic Management came and asked me, "Look, there's too many for one trainer. Would you go and assist?"
Yeah.
And I would tell them, I would always name drop Big Demo. My very good friend Big Demo.
Nice.
And one night, one of the guys went and asked Rocky Starr, was like, "Does he really know Big Demo? He talks about him that much." And Rocky was like, "Oh yeah, they're really good friends. They're about the same age."
We actually shared the car ride with Big Demo down to Cork
Yeah.
for one of the events. Yeah, it was a fun journey. I had who did I have? I had JDP, I had Justy, I had the Short Fuse, and I had Big Demo in the car mostly from Belfast to Dublin to Cork. And that's I don't know if you know this, but JDP, Justy, and Big Demo aren't particularly small men, and to have all that there in the car was, well, it was a journey anyway.
Yep.
And hearing what he had to say, from the likes of when he was in the WWE and stuff like that, there was incredible. Coming from someone who has first chance experience with him himself.
For anybody that's listening, we almost just got wiped out by a cyclist there.
I think he nearly wiped himself out.
Yeah, now I like to cycle, and one of the most important things you can have when you're cycling is a bell to let people know that you're coming up on, that you're there. So if you're a cyclist, get yourself a bell, because if you get wiped out Franco, Gary Gibson will have into the MMA mode. I hope. So you were talking about the MMA and the kickboxing and the karate. Do you still do that, or is it restrictive because of full-time job and wrestling? And
It's a lot of the sessions would do kind of overlap with the wrestling training, and that would be my primary focus, to be fair.
Yeah.
It was COVID time that kind of took my whole change from that there. As I was, let's see if I'm in this right, the January, February time in 2020, I had graded up to one of my brown belts. So I would have been spending that year going for my black belt in karate.
Yep.
And then I was also attempting to enter like a call it K1 open challenge kind of thing in the kickboxing scene.
Yes.
But then, as you know, COVID kind of closed all that down. Stopped a lot of the training sessions, done it all through like Zoom and stuff like that, and this wasn't kind of my thing. Just rather do stuff on my own. So ever since they opened back up again after COVID, it just hasn't hit me the same. So I kind of didn't really train in that style as much. So I kind of chose more of the wrestling style since then. And I'll go back every now and then, but it's not one of my focuses.
Yep. Now, you've become a fan favorite in Titanic, and
Somehow.
but before you wrestled, I know you refereed
Mhm.
a few matches.
Yes.
What did you learn from refereeing?
Oh, everything. It's you're not just watching it as a fan. You're not just sitting in the back watching it as a crew member. You're there in the middle of the action, calling things down the middle. It's an eye-opening experience. If that's one of my advices. If you are going to start wrestling, get yourself a refereeing gig first, because then you'll be able to see up close and personal how matches actually unfold in the ring. Uh, it was definitely an experience. It wasn't an easy job. The few matches I had to I nearly got wiped out by the dark horse in a chair in Larne. That was a terrifying experience. I got to do my first referee ejection with, I believe it was part of the standard. That's definitely on my bucket list, and glad I could tick that one off. Yeah, that's my advice. There was get into refereeing, and you'll be able to see wrestling as a whole different kettle of fish.
For anybody that knows me, knows that I also done a bit of refereeing to start with, and one of the best matches I refereed and learned so much from was refereeing Tucker and LJ.
Yeah.
And I learned so much in that match. And it was great to also get into the ring in a match environment before you were actually in a match. And you got to see, as you say, you got to see so much more. You got to see up close and personal. And it was a great learning experience for me too. And that's one thing that I would recommend anybody wanting to get into the ring and wrestle is get in and referee first.
Big time.
Next up for Titanic Wrestling is Anarchy and Ards.
Mhm.
And then the big one, Slamdemic.
Slamdemic.
Will Gary Gibson be on those shows? Will he be at them? Will he be?
I am hoping to be on. Well, I mean, as reigning, defending all Ulster champion of Titanic Wrestling, I do plan to. I have a few opponents in mind to defend against. Whether the powers that be make that happen or not, I have, again, like I've said, Rocky Star is still #1 contender. I would like to think he would throw his hat in the ring, but anybody else that wants to step forward, fighting champion, I'm ready to defend at any cost.
You said you have a few people in mind. Is there anybody on the current Titanic roster
I
that
think
you
that's
think
nail
you
on the head there,
think you could
Franco.
have that you could have a really good match with?
That's
Rocky
the
Star.
actual Titanic roster itself. I have no issues putting myself out there for anybody. I think I'll put a good match on with anybody. I'm not saying that in an ego way. That's more of a I get in the ring and I will put on a classic every time, no matter who I'm in the ring with.
If you could handpick an opponent from anybody in the wrestling world, who would you pick?
Oh, I thought about this on the way up in the car too. I have quite a few there. For the Titanic roster itself, my top pick would be JDP because the styles there are completely different, but
Yes.
somehow the same. And that same both Tucker will be up there and Carvel, and I could just name the entire Titanic roster to be fair at that point. But out in the indie scene, Warhorse has always been a big fan of mine, or been a big fan of his. So he would be one. Stephen Flo, if nobody knows, he's the grunge gimmick, and I love that. I would love to be in the ring with that. Alistair Black. would be a big one for the WWE at some point. The likes of like Ricochet, Will Ospreay, of course, all those big names.
Yeah, yeah.
But I think Aleister Black is my top pick. I would love to spend a few minutes, even give me 5 minutes ring with Aleister Black.
You
That would
had
be my dream.
you had mentioned Tupper there. It wasn't that long ago. I can't quite remember what it was, but I had said something to Jack about taking a move. And I was like, I would rather take that than take a Tucker chop.
A Tucker chop is it's a double-edged sword, quite literally. It is a thing of beauty. To give it, to receive it, it is a thing of hell no. I've been lucky enough not to receive one. I received a bit of an ass whooping from Tucker in a few matches at a point, and like battle royals and stuff like that, but never a one-on-one interaction with Tucker. Luckily, so my chest is unscathed that way.
Have you ever done anything in the ring that you regret,
Hmm.
or you think I shouldn't have done that?
Not so much regrets what I've done, more so regrets what I could have done. So I always kind of go back after a match and think, oh, I could have done this, or I should have done that there, or should have done this moved around. But not anything I've done in the ring has kind of been with purpose. Which I'm drawing a blank here now if I have kind of done anything that I would regret. No, I would say no.
Have you ever had any injuries?
I have had, I wouldn't call it an injury. I smashed my head against the ring apron because I got a bit over overexcited. I wanted to sell the move a lot bigger than what it was. So I, instead of making light contact with the ring apron, I made full contact with the ring apron with my head, and I was quite rattled. So the rest of the match, I was like a few seconds delayed. I'd say that would be my biggest injury that I've had. Thankfully, nothing ever came out of it, but it was kind of a bit scary being there in the moment.
Yep, yep, I know what you mean. Uh, so we've talked about martial arts. Is there anything else that you like to do outside of wrestling?
Aside from the whole heavy metal thing, I'm a big music fan. I not just heavy metal. I'm a big fan of all kinds of music. I love to collect physical music, so I'm big into my like records and my CDs, uh, stuff like that. There, I've got quite an extensive CD and vinyl collection. What's more than that there? I play a lot of music too. Quite a few guitar collections too. I play a wee bit of guitar, a bit of bass, string, stuff like that there. And then sort of just picking that up on myself, kind of self-taught for the last, I would say since I was 18, about 12, 13 years or so.
Miller Moon, the milk to drink when feeling blue. Miller Moon for flavors. Which one's for you? Strawberry, banana, chocolate, cookies and cream. Miller Moon, we love you.
Okay, folks, just to let you all know, while recording the main interview, something happened to Gary's microphone and it didn't record sort of the second half. So Gary's agreed to come and meet us today at the Titanic Training Centre
The School of Wrestling.
just to finish off the interview, just basically to go over again with what we were talking about. We were just talking about there, Gary, your what you like to do outside of wrestling.
Outside of wrestling, there's a lot of stuff I like to do. I'm a big gamer. I like a lot of old retro games and not so much modern stuff. But I've a lot of retro games, a lot of like old Xbox, original PlayStation stuff like that. There, a big music fan, as everyone would already tell. But it's not just heavy metal; it's about everything. big physical media collector. I like my CDs, I like my vinyls. The massive, massive collection is. You've probably seen it in most of my promos too. It's always there in the background.
Those kids that were listening CDs were before
CDs, MP3s, oh,
CDs. The things there used to be a big shop in Belfast City Centre called Virgin Megastores. It used to be filled from top to bottom with cassettes, CDs, and vinyl records. That was a great part of my childhood, being in that store.
Whole store now on Spotify.
Yeah. You were talking about gaming. Do you prefer a Xbox or PlayStation?
I'm an Xbox man. I always have been since from day one back in 2004 when the original OG came out, something like that. Xbox since day one.
So, moving on then, from when you started out your wrestling training to now, do you think you've achieved everything you set out to achieve, or is there more to come from Gary Gibson?
When I started my journey, I had not very little plans, but small plans. My initial goal was to have a wrestling match and realistically call it quits after that. But I got hooked ever
Just
since
the one
that first
match you
one.
want?
Just the one to call myself a wrestler, and that was me happy. But then the bug got me. I was hooked ever since that.
I spoke to Stephen Carvel recently about this. When you get the bug, there's no getting rid of it.
Oh, it hit me hard.
Yeah. So when you started right at the beginning of your training, did you think you would have made it this far so soon?
No, not in the slightest. No, I thought a couple of years in, I still would have been getting better at the same things I was doing way back then. Not thinking of thinking of my next title defense, in a few weeks' time, rather than back then. I would have been thinking, oh, I'm still focusing on my roles and my basics, uh, thinking up new moves and covering myself in the ring more. But no, from where I've gotten to now, I've realistically, I think I've made leaps and bounds in my training.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. You recently had a no holds barred match with Redman. How did you feel, and what did you think after that match?
I believe the term was a full metal mayhem, Franco. Uh, I felt everything after that match. I felt everything 3 days after that match too. It was tough. It was. Oh, I mean, what do you expect? I mean, has your wife ever hit you with a baking sheet?
Well, my son's sitting in the corner, so I don't want to embarrass myself. So, but she hit me with a few things heavier than a bacon sheet.
They leave a lasting impression. I when I got home that night, I was aching. When I woke up the next morning, I was still aching, and I was just battered and bruised the whole thing. But I would happily do it again in a heartbeat.
Now, you were also in Scotland representing Titanic Wrestling, and when you were over there, you helped with a coaching session for some of the Scottish youngsters.
Mm.
Do you see a future for yourself as a coach?
Potentially, yeah. I've always seen myself more as a learner through it. Always picking up things. When I was coaching over there, well, it's not so much coaching; it was more there while JDP and Ravy Davy was coaching. But I picked up a lot of things from that. I could definitely give my own thoughts and opinions on how to get better. But I've always seen myself more as a learner. Always picking up everything, always learning from everybody else, sort of way.
Yeah, for me, learning is a real joy of life. And my father was a joiner. And we
same.
tip I picked up from him, and it's a little Franco freebie. So if you're listening on YouTube, anytime something goes wrong in my house, the first thing I do is I go to YouTube to see if there's a video on it to fix it.
Every time.
And it saves you an absolute fortune. So when you're saying there about learning and training, and one of the things that I took from a seminar that Big Damo done was he had said that the more training sessions he went to, the better he got.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like yourself, I work a full-time job, and getting to training sometimes is difficult, but it's you never come out of a training session thinking, God, I shouldn't have done that this evening.
I always go in thinking that.
Yeah.
A lot of the times, it's same as yourself, working full time throughout the mornings, then going training in the evening. It can be sore in the body. But every time you come away from it thinking, yeah, that was worth it. That's helped me through the day.
So we talked about training and rest, and what do you like to do to rest and relax or just switch off?
I like to zone out quite a lot. If I go home, if I'm not working, if I'm not training, if I'm not in the gym, kind of just sit on the sofa, put a movie on, put an album on, a vinyl album as the youngsters would want to call it. If you want to reference that, that's what I really do. I really just switch off, kind of sit back and just let the time pass.
And what's your favorite thing to do in the gym?
At the minute, I'm focusing a lot more on my cardio than I would have done on my weight training. I did a lot of hill sprints in the treadmill, a lot of HIIT training, high intensity interval training. Do a lot of that there at the minute. I've never made the leap into CrossFit, so it's not on my books. But a lot of hill sprints, a lot of cardio is my kind of go-to at the minute.
And if Titanic were to hold an event in your hometown of Limavady, do you think Gary Gibson could sell that out as an event star?
Oh, 100%. Aye. Not to brag or anything, put my name in the posters, put my face in the posters. The town would see that. They'd want to see more. I've had an event in the town before, and it was a practical sellout. I think it was 100, 200 plus venue in the civic centre, and that was practically sold out.
And just speaking about venues, what's your favourite venue that you've wrestled in, or what venues you enjoy wrestling in the most?
My favourite venue I have wrestled in is the School of Wrestling in Glasgow. That is River School. It is a former church, so I have wrestled in a church. That is that's on my bucket list, and that is a major one ticked off. I'm happy with that one.
So the listeners will have heard this before, Gary. This is we're now into Franco's heat sheet, where Franco's going to try and get Gary Gibson a little bit of heat here.
Oh, okay.
So, did you drink alcohol before you were 18?
Oh, yes. Yes, I did.
Do you prefer cats or dogs?
I'm a cat man.
Would cats be your favourite animal, or would you have it?
I've grew up with cats. I've only had one dog when I was younger, but still having cats ever since then.
When's your mum's birthday?
March, I think. We'll go with that. Sometime in early March.
Who do you text the most?
I don't really text too many people, to be fair. I don't really text too many people. No, I just kind of keep to myself, yeah.
What was your favourite subject at school?
I liked music. Yeah, we'll go with that. Music.
Name a 4-letter word that starts with D.
Oh, disc.
What's your favourite shop to shop in?
That's a bit of a personal bias there, but I like a cost cutter.
What's your favourite movie?
Kung Pao, Enter the Fist. Never heard of it? Go watch it. Highly recommended.
What's your go-to lazy dinner?
Bar takeaway. I like to make myself my own chicken curry.
Is your bed made right now?
Yes, because I was up early to rush up here today.
If you could have any car or bike in the world, which would you choose? Or what would you choose?
I grew up liking the old style American muscle cars, so I'd say one of them. I don't know any of them, but one of them ones.
Who's your favourite Disney character?
Oh, I don't know. Does Monsters Inc. count? I don't think they're Disney.
I think Monsters Inc. is Pixar.
Which one is Disney? Disney Princess. The Scottish one. One you can't understand.
Merida.
Yes, go with that one.
What never fails to make you laugh?
Quite a lot there. Very happy guy. Very always laughing at something. I don't know. A lot of things make me laugh.
Who is the most annoying person in Titanic?
Ooh, after listening to quite a lot of commentary, like Richards.
Who was your childhood crush?
Oh, it has to be Kimberly, the Pink Power Ranger.
Now, you're a single man at the moment, Gary. Is that true?
Can't neither confirm nor deny that.
Hey, we have a pretty extensive ladies roster. You have to take one of the members of the ladies division out on a date. Who do you take, and where do you take her?
Well, that's a tough question. Oh, you put me in the spot here now, Franco. I think the star power Madam Director would have to do that there if she could pay for the fancy seating.
Who's your best friend in Titanic Wrestling?
Best friend in Titanic Wrestling. That's it. Made so many friends. I have to go with maybe Mucker, KMK, and Big Ro. I have to pick the two of them.
Who would you most like to have a beer with?
Can anybody count?
Anybody can count.
Everybody?
Okay, that's a big.
That's it.
Are you banned?
More the merrier. That's it. I'm not banned. BYOB.
So one of the things I promised the listeners whenever we were starting this podcast was that there'd be a few laughs along the way. You recently had an incident with JDP in the ring.
Oh, I know where this is going.
Would you like to tell us about that?
Am I allowed to tell this?
I would say so.
Oh, right, JDP, mate, I am so sorry. So we were having a little mess about session one afternoon, and JDP called me over, like, here, Gibson, got this, maybe want to try it on you. So I think he racks me into like a suplex position, and he tells me, I'm going to flip you over here, wrap your legs around my waist. I'm like, right, okay, no problem, buddy, I can do that. So he throws me up, I wrap my legs around his waist, and for those who don't know, JDP is quite a bit larger than I am, so my legs don't go the whole way around. Therefore, I wrap onto his shorts. The shorts come down, I land on my ass, and I am staring at JDP's boxers right in my face. Thankfully, he was wearing boxers. And whoever else was in the ring at the time was rolling on the floor laughing. They were losing it. JDP has turned beet red.
Bit like you now.
Yeah.
Gary, I just want to say thank you very much for coming back and finishing the interview off.
Not a problem.
It is greatly appreciated, and it's one that I have really enjoyed. Thanks again. I really, really appreciate it.
Thank you, Franco.
I want to wish you all the best in the future.
An honor to be here. I appreciate your thanks.
Ladies and gentlemen, that wraps up our interview with Heavy Metal Gary Gibson. So stay tuned to our Facebook page, and we will be dropping a photo tomorrow of our next guest, and we will do another little round of Guess the Guest. So take care and stay safe. Franco out.
Step through the wrestling tale. Franco's got the stories that never go stale. With the champs, the underdogs, the dreamers too. He's walking and talking just for you. Walking with Franco, stories unfold. Wrestling hearts in a ring of gold. Walking with Franco, legends alive. Every step's a suplex in time. From the streets of Rome to the locker room door, every walk's a match you can't ignore. Grapples and glory, the highs and the scars. Franco's footsteps are chasing the stars. Walking with Franco, stories unfold. Wrestling hearts in a ring of gold. Walking with Franco, legends alive. Every step's a suplex in time. From the streets of Rome to the locker room door, every walk's a match you can't ignore. Grapples and glory, the highs and the scars. Franco's footsteps are chasing the stars. Walking with Franco, stories unfold. Wrestling hearts in a ring of gold. Oh, gold. Walking with Franco, legends alive. Every step's a suplex in time. From the streets of Rome to the locker room door, wrestling hearts in a ring of gold. Walking with Franco, legends alive. Every step's a suplex in time. From the streets of Rome to the locker room door, every walk's a match you can't ignore. Grapples in glory, the highs and the scars. Franco's footsteps are chasing the stars. From the streets of Rome to the locker room door, every walk's a match you can't ignore. Grapples in glory, the highs and the stars. Franco's footsteps are chasing stars. From the streets of Rome to the locker room door, every walk's a match you can't ignore. Grapples in glory, the highs and the scars. Franco's footsteps are chasing the stars. He's got the moves and the pasta charm, a gladiator's heart with a wrestler's arm. Through the ropes of life, the stories climb. Franco's walking and it's prime time. Walking with Franco, stories unfold. Wrestling hearts in a ring of gold. Walking with Franco, legends alive. Every step's a suplex in time.